Welcome to the Soulful Success by Design podcast. I'm Kendra Woods, your host and a former corporate healthcare executive turned entrepreneur. After battling burnout, I discovered the magic of human design. As a 6'2" splenic projector, I am here to lead you on a journey of self-discovery, self-mastery, and unstoppable growth. So join me as we dive into the world of human design, mindset, energetics, and aligned success. We will talk about the highs and the lows of creating soulful and meaningful success in your life and business on your terms. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Soulful Success by Design podcast. I am your host, Kendra Woods, and I'm excited, as always, to be back with you today to have another amazing and transformative discussion around human design. But before we get into this, I just have to share with you that we are excited to let you know that the Reader's Path School of Human Design Wisdom is currently open for enrollment. We have been talking about this school for months and months and months, and now it is finally here. It is time. So I want you just to think about and imagine what it would be like to unlock the potential within each of your clients. Not through like generic templates or step-by-step formulas or anything like that, but through a profound comprehension of their unique human design. Have you ever imagined the profound impact that you can make if you could truly connect with your clients on a deeper level, understanding their unique essence at first glance? Now, when I first came into the world of human design, I knew that it was the thing that was going to help me take my clients deeper. I knew it was going to help me to understand them at a deeper level. And if you know anything about me, I am a woman of depth. So when I work with my clients, I really want to take them deep and go deep with them. And so human design has enabled me to do that. And so through our school, becoming a certified human design reader, I want you to imagine the impact that you could have when you can take your clients that next step deeper. Imagine what it would be like to effortlessly guide your clients towards their full potential, right? Really peeling back and unveiling layers of limitations that are holding them back. And I want you to envision being the type of businesswoman or coach or guide or consultant who doesn't just scratch the surface, but who really has deep transformations that happen, right? Who's really here to transform lives by tapping into their clients' individuality and authenticity. One thing I know for sure is that all of our clients and all of us, when we come into relationship with other coaches and mentors, is that we deeply desire to be seen, heard, and recognized. And with the power of human design, your clients can now step into that space with you and get that feeling and get that deep need met that they may not even know that they have, right? But unconsciously, it's there. So if you're ready to embrace mastery, rise above the norm, and be the go-to professional in your industry, then becoming a certified human design reader through our school will take you there. So enrollment's currently open, and we could not wait to welcome you onto this journey. You can go to www.thereaderspath.com/sales page TRP. Again, that's www.thereaderspath.com/sales page TRP. And I'm going to leave the link also, everyone, in the show notes. But we are so thrilled to have the doors open. We just wrapped up our live workshop last week called Align and Thrive. We had over 80 women register for this workshop, and we had the best time. Myself and my partner, Michelle Renee, we had an amazing time spending 5 days with all the women that showed up and the ones that watched the replay. We gave away some really cool prizes, and it was just a really fun time. So, alrighty, that's that. So what we're here to talk about today is we're going to dive into the gates and channels in your human design. So we're going to decode what the gates and channels are all about. And I'm going to provide you with some insights into your human design based on some of your gates and your channels, and really to help you understand, okay, what are these, channels that you see, or these lines, I should say, that you see on your human design chart? What are these numbers that you're seeing on your human design chart? What do they mean for you, right? How do they have an impact on your life? So if you don't have your human design chart handy, I'm going to invite you to bring it out, pull it up on your computer, or you might be out and about right now. Maybe you're out walking, or maybe you're driving the car. So you can listen and then come back later with your chart and see what all of your activated gates and channels are. All right. So let's talk about this. First of all, let's talk about what a channel is. Let's start there first. So when you are looking at your chart, you're going to see these lines that are connecting your different centers. Okay. And if you are wanting to dive into like what all the centers mean and what their energetic themes are, if you go a few episodes back, I did a 2-part series about each of the centers. And I gave you the positive expression, I gave you the shadow expression, and really just helped you understand what the energetic themes are for those centers. So a channel is comprised of 2 gates, and it connects 2 centers. So when you're looking at your human design chart, wherever you are defined, so anywhere you have a center that's colored in, there's going to be a channel that's connecting those 2. So for me, when I look at my chart, my root and my spleen are defined, and I have a channel that is connecting them, channel 3254, channel of transformation. And now a gate is the numbers that you see inside of the centers. So when it's activated, it'll be colored in. And when the line from it connects to another center, that creates a channel, and that highlights the gate within that center. So when you're looking at your chart, you have the gate that's inside, the gate number that's inside of each of your centers, the ones that are activated and have a line that connect all the way to the next center's gate, that is a channel. And through that channel, it creates definition for you in those particular centers that it's connecting. And so what is amazing about this is that your channels create a steady stream of communication or energy between 2 centers via the energetic theme of that gate. So I'm going to be using my chart for reference because it's the one I have here in front of me. So when I look at my channel 3254, I have a steady stream of communication between my root and my spleen, and that energy is expressed through the gates 54 and 32. And so when you think about the gates in your chart, I want you to think of them like entry and exit points for the flow of energy to and from centers. And then that channel that this creates is like a spark of life that creates a consistent flow of communication between the centers. I like to say when I see, channels in a chart, that channel allows the 2 centers to talk to each other consistently all the time. So for me, my root and my spleen are always talking to each other, and that energy is always being expressed through the energetic themes of that particular center and, next level, the gate. Okay. So what happens, and what you'll hear us say in the human design world, is that when 2 gates connect, it creates definition in your design that defines and it determines your gifts. So one of the things that I like to do is whenever I do a reading, I love to talk about the channels in my readings, because those channels are where your gifts are, right? Those are your strengths. It is energy that is defined for you. It's always there. It is you. And so I'd love to talk to my clients about what their channels are, because that gives them a clue of how they can more consciously channel their energy into their desires, right? Into their business, most specifically, because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. And so we talk about looking at, okay, let's look at your channels and see how you can then integrate that energy that your channels are bringing up into your business. That is what creates alignment. That is what creates more ease for you in your business, when you're able to be working with your energy instead of working against it. Okay, so the definition that you have in your channels represents a part of the reason why you're here. It's a part of the reason why you incarnated into this world at the time that you did. It's an energy that must be expressed through you authentically without your conditioning or limiting beliefs getting in the way. And so that's the other part of the work that we get to do when you understand your design. Maybe you get a reading and you understand your type, your strategy, authority. You start looking at your channels. What you want to look at is it's going to resonate with you when you start learning about what your activated gates are and what your activated channels are. When you understand the themes of those energies, it's going to resonate with you. Your next job, your next piece of work is to look at what limiting beliefs or conditioning do you have around giving yourself permission to fully express that innate energy that's within you. Okay. Now, I can't have this conversation without talking about the other gates that are in your design that maybe don't connect to a center. So you may look at your chart and maybe you're looking at a particular center and that gate is highlighted and there's a little line there, but it's not connecting to any other center. And so in those spaces, what those are called hanging gates. So it's a gate that's activated or defined in your chart, but it does not form a complete channel with another gate. So a hanging gate represents potential or partial energy that is seeking to connect with its complementary gate to complete a channel. This is where like what is the word I'm looking for? Like magnetism comes in when you think of relationships, right? So if you're looking at the hanging gates in your chart, those hanging gates are like hands that are reaching out for the other side of that energy. It wants to complete that channel. And so what typically happens is those gates that are hanging are acting like open invitations to energy or experiences from others who have the complementary gate defined. And when you find that, it leads to a really unique and dynamic interaction between people. So when I look at me and my partner, Michelle Renee, who partnered with me in the school, I have gate 21 in my will center, will or heart center defined. She has gate 45 in her throat center defined. So when her and I come together, when we are in each other's energy, we create the money line 4521. And so when we're together, my gate 21 now has that complementary gate 45 and beautiful magical things happen. And this is why we all are meant to, yes, be individuals and obviously really honor our individuality, but we are also here to connect with one another because there are parts of ourselves, parts of our energy that's meant to be connected with others in order to create and manifest something that we could not do on our own, right? So we're going to get into the role that gates play in shaping your personality and your skills. All right. And so we're going to talk about like how individual gates can influence your characteristics, your talents, and even some potential challenges. And those potential challenges show up when there is conditioning present. So number one, the gates give you a unique influence, right? Because each gate carries a specific energy that influences your characteristics and tendencies. So, for example, you might have a gate that represents the energy of innovation, leadership, empathy, or introspection. So, the presence of a particular gate in your chart can highlight some of your natural talents and areas where you're predisposed to excel or face challenges. Okay. So if the gate is connected, creates a channel, that's definitely going to be highlighting like a natural talent of yours. If it is a gate that is a hanging gate, it means that there's a lot of potential there for you in that gate, right? For that to be expressed. But it can also mean that there's some challenges there because you don't have that other connecting gate to form that channel, you might have picked up some conditioning in that openness, right? So your gates are opportunities for growth as well. And I want to be very clear on this, because if you have a hanging gate, the way that I see hanging gates are, those are definitely opportunities for you to tap into different levels of growth in your potential, right? But that doesn't mean that if you have a channel that you don't have potential for growth there. Yes, there's potential for growth there. Obviously, there's also potential for challenge there. And that is where the whole conditioning and our limiting beliefs come into play. And so when we start doing work to unveil and peel back the layers, that's when we begin to see like the positive high expression of our channels and of our gates come to life. Okay. So now, your gates, as I mentioned before, are a part of the different centers, and they affect how you process energy and interact with the world. So the way that I'll look at it is, okay, we have the center, and the center has its own energetic theme about it. And then the gates that are defined for you indicate how that energetic theme of the center is then expressed, right? The flavor of that energetic theme is expressed through a particular gate. So for example, a gate that's attached to the throat center is going to influence your communication style. A gate that is in your emotional solar plexus, it's going to impact how you process your emotions. So for me, I have a lot of gate activations in my root center. Right? So now we know the root center is the center for adrenaline, stress, and pressure. So what this looks like for me is, of course, I'm always going to have this consistent way of dealing with pressure and stress, right? I'm driven to complete tasks and to feel, and I feel a constant pressure to get things moving. And this can also be a powerful motivator for me. And so with that defined root, I can motivate others to act, or I can also inadvertently contribute to them feeling rushed or under pressure. So knowing this about my root center is important, right? Knowing how your defined center in and of itself acts and expresses itself is important. So I know that my strategy for handling stress is it's built in. And I benefit greatly from physical activity or other outlets to help me manage and release any pressure that I feel constructively. Now, what we'll get into here next is, okay, so then what does that look like when you have gates that are defined in a center for you that's defined? Okay, that's what we're going to get to next, because what happens there is we understand the energy of our center, right? When we have that channel, we have two centers that are defined, and we understand how that energy plays out and how it looks and what the energetic theme is for those centers. But then you add on top of that the gates that are defined, and then that brings a whole nother level. Okay. So there are the gates that you have activated, again, point to some of your inherent talents and your strengths. Okay. So if you have a defined sacral and you have some gate activations there, the sacral center with those gate activations can reveal generative energy and endurance. Right. While gates in the ajna center will indicate analytical strength or intuitive capabilities. So continuing to use my chart as an example, I have one of the gates I have in my root center is gate 54. And so this is the gate of ambition or the gate of drive. So if you're a person who has gate 54 defined in your chart, it plays a significant role in how you process the energy of stress and adrenaline, but particularly in terms of ambition and drive, right? And the desire to rise up and to ascend and to improve your status, your position, or your condition. So here's what that might look like if we're looking at, okay, I've got my root center defined and I've got gate 54 defined, which creates a channel for me into another center. What you're then going to know is, okay, I am someone who has inherent ambition. And so for me, with gate 54 defined, I have this inherent ambition and this deep-seated like need and drive to climb the ladder of success. There was a part of me, I always say to my husband all the time, I'm like, I'm like, no matter what I achieve and how much success I have, like I know that I'm always going to have this drive to want to continue to move forward and evolve. It's there, and I can feel it. It is there. It is not going away. And that is a representation of my root center and that gate 54. So for me, like I'm looking to channel that gate 54 energy into the areas of my life that feel important to me. My faith, my family, my business, my finances, my health and well-being, the things that are valuable to me. And so this also looks like gate 54 also looks like material and spiritual ascension. So if you have this gate defined, you may find that your drive includes a desire to align your material success with your spiritual goals or personal values, right? So do you see how that works? And so I want to encourage you to look, like again, when you have your chart in front of you, look at first the gates that you have defined that create channels for you. All right. So I'm going to give you another example of a gate that I have defined, but it does not connect to another center. So I have gate 48, and gate 48 is activated for me. That comes off the spleen center and it's reaching towards the throat. But I do not have gate 16. I don't have gate 16 in the throat defined. So my gate 48 is like reaching out for that throat center. And so it's looking for that energy. But what I do know is I know that gate's looking for that energy, and that's great. But it also gives me a clue into, again, my talents and specific gifts. So gate 48 is a gate of depth. So you've got depth, you've got wisdom. On the low expression, the fear of being seen as inadequate or not knowing enough, right? However, when I know how to harness this energy positively, it manifests in several different strengths that support me in being the leader that I am, right? So what that looks like is me having a deep level of knowledge and expertise. My expertise is in human design. So as someone with gate 48, I am not satisfied with surface level understanding, right? I am driven to dive deeper. I have this innate wisdom and intuition about me. So people with gate 48, such as myself defined, you may find that you have this knack for understanding like complex concepts or situations intuitively. And we're going to know how to work with that, because I can look at a situation and I know what's going on. But the moment you ask me to intellectualize it or to make it make sense, that's hard for me to do. I just get it, right? So I'm hoping that you can see that by understanding the roles that your channels play as it pertains to the gates and as it pertains to the defined centers, how knowing that can really help you position yourself for success in whatever area of life that's important to you. And that by also knowing that your hanging gates and your design are also there to teach you so much. They're there to help you uncover what you are here to do and how you are here to be of service. So I'm going to give you another one, for example. So gate 21 I mentioned this one earlier. This is a hanging gate for me. Remember I said earlier that this is a gate that when me and Michelle Renee get together, we complete the channel, the 2145. But in my design, when it's just me and I don't have that electromagnetic connection, this gate 21 is actually a part of my incarnation cross too, which is like a whole nother conversation. But this gate for me is a huge theme in my chart. So in my chart, this gate 21, I have it 4 times. I have it 4 times in my design. So that's something else you want to be looking at. Are there specific gates in your design that repeat themselves over and over again? And so where you'll find that at is when you're looking at your chart on the right-hand side and left-hand side, you're going to see your gates. You're going to see a number, a dot, and then another number. The number in front of the decimal is the gate. So one thing that I love to do too with my clients, and I do this with myself, is look at, okay, what gates are repeating in my design, because those repeated gates are going to be compounded themes in my life. And so then it is going to be important for me to be able to harness the positive energies of those themes and to be really clear on where I'm holding any limitations or conditioning around that. Right. So gate 21 is the gate of control. It's the gate of control. And so it's part of the ego or / heart center. And it deals with control, management of resources, specifically financial resources, and leadership. And so when this gate is positively expressed, it brings so many amazing strengths and talents with it. Number one, leadership abilities. Okay. So I know with this gate, or individuals that have this gate often have a clear vision and the determination to see it through, which makes them effective leaders. I also know that this gate 21, people that have this, have somewhat of a financial acumen. So those with this gate really have a talent for financial planning, budgeting, or investing, and understanding how to make the most of your assets, right? That is something that I enjoy. I cannot tell you how many books about money that I have on my bookshelf, right? Or how I love to look at different like budgeting softwares to help, organize my money. You see, there's like determination and willpower in this gate 21. There's also an energy of being protective in this energy. So if you just go through and look at your gates, look up what they mean, and then contemplate and think with yourself and say, okay, how is this showing up in my life? For me, gate 21, again, is a really big theme. It's part of my incarnation cross, and it's also represented several other times in my chart in the different planets. But look at all of your gates, because those are your gifts and your strengths. The gates that create channels, that is where those strengths and those gifts are always on for you. They're always there for you. Okay. So the energy is static with your channels. Now, the gates that are hanging, those are going to be more fluid, right? You're going to see it kind of like, come and go, but it's still an important part of who you are, a defined part of who you are. So now what we want to look at is, what impact do the channels play on on the energy flow of your design and your relationships? So again, the channels represent strength and consistency of energy flow between centers, and this impacts how you interact with the world and how you interact with others. So again, like I said earlier, I love to look at my clients' channels when they come to me and they're like, I'm just wanting to get really clear on my vision. I want to get clear on my purpose. I really need to know, like, okay, what am I good at and how do I communicate that? Or maybe they're looking at their messaging and they want to figure out, okay, what is my message? What is my core message? What is my core theme? Or even if they're looking to get ideas on offer creation, we look at the channels. Right? We can also look at, and again, obviously the defined centers, but we look to the channels, because this is the place that is, I feel like, the low-hanging fruit when it comes to being a business owner. And you're looking at what products to create, right? Or how to deliver your products. Looking at your channels and looking at where you have defined centers. Those are the low-hanging fruit. That's what you can look at and go, oh, okay. So I have a defined root center. It's about, pressure and stress and adrenaline. And I've got gate 54, which is all about ambition and drive. Okay, what does that look like? How could I help someone with this energy, right? How can I help someone else tap into their ambition, tap into their drive? What insights and wisdom can I give around success and achievement and achieving and stress management and things like that, right? Okay, so I'm going to look at the channel that I have. So I have channel 3254, and this is known as a channel of transformation. It connects the root center to the spleen center. And so when you look at your particular channels, I want you to also know that it's going to give you like predictable behavioral themes. And this is a part that I love to geek out on, because when you can understand your centers and what they mean, it's going to give you a big clue into your behavioral themes, right? It creates predictability, and how you will show up and how you will show up as a business person and how you will interact in relationships. It's going to show all of that to you. And so then if you think about this, if you have a client's human design chart and you understand how to read it and you understand what all these things mean, oh my gosh, the way that you'd be able to laser in and focus in on what their predictable behaviors are on the positive expression. And you can also predict what their behaviors will be on a lower, I'll just say like that, like the shadow expression. So when it comes to really helping people develop success from the inside out, human design is a tool that will support you in doing that. And that's why I love to use it for myself and of course for my clients as well. Okay, but let's talk about this channel. So channel 3254, it's all about ambition and drive. This channel is all about intuitive business acumen. Now, hear me on this. When I first started my business, I knew that I wanted to work with entrepreneurs. I knew that I wanted to support them in being the best versions of themselves. I wanted to support them in overcoming their limiting beliefs so that they could show up in their business authentic, confident, clear. I wanted to help them do that. And so obviously a lot of our conversations would be around business. We would talk about the inner stuff, of course, but then we would talk about business. And for the longest time, I struggled with my intuitive business talent, I'll say, because everyone else around me had more of a like formulaic, strategic way of helping folks grow their business. It was very concrete, I should say. My way of being a business coach is very intuitive, right? It's an intuitive approach, right? It's a more fluid approach. And it took me a long time to really reconcile that, okay, Kendra, this is how you're designed to coach and lead people through growing their business. It's through your intuitive business talent that you have. And so I'm able to help my clients and tap into what are some of the moves that can often lead to success. And those moves that come to me are instinctive, right? And so I really have this keen sense for business and financial opportunities that will create like growth and improvement. But because I couldn't point to some book and say, oh, it came from here, it came from there, I didn't trust it in the beginning. But as I continued to decondition and really lean into my design and understand human design and my design better, I was able to reconcile those parts of me, the part of me that was my design that's like, yes, this is how you do this. And the other part of me that was like, well, I'm not sure because the world says it should be done this way or this person's doing it that way. I was able to bring them together and really own the way that I am meant to lead and coach in business. So you see what happens there? It really helps you to step into your authentic way of being, coaching, leading, consulting, guiding, healing. You see? And that's powerful. So the last thing that I want to share with you here is what I have found that when it comes to manifesting, right? When we talk about manifestation and bringing to life what it is you desire, your channels in human design, amongst other things, there's other parts in your chart that we could tap into your manifesting ability and what that looks like for you. But your channels will also give you a huge clue, right? So I look at my channel of transformation, and for me, my manifestations kind of move through and look like, me investing in personal improvement, being involved in the community, because this channel that I have is a tribal energy, risk taking. So for me to manifest the things I desire, then I get to lean into my intuitive grasp of timing and opportunity, combined with my drive for transformation. And then I take calculated risks, right, that have this potential reward that aligns with my ambition for growth and improvement, right? So your human design is like it weaves this beautiful story of how you can practically harness your energy to manifest what you desire, right? So here's what I want to leave you with. I want to encourage you to, when you have a moment, when you get back home or you get in a place where you're sitting down, you're quiet, grab your chart, and I want you to write down, list out all of the gates in your chart that you have activated. And then also write down all the channels that you have activated and then what centers those channels define. Okay. And then I want you to go and do some research. Go look at, okay, what do these gates mean? Like, go research, what do these channels mean? And even just that surface level understanding can help you then, continue to reflect and contemplate on how you can more consciously allow yourself to express that energy and where you may be holding yourself back from expressing your unique design. And I want to add some context here because the presence of your gates and the channels that you have are also going to be influenced by your type, your strategy, and your authority, right? So this all layers on itself. So I have the channel of transformation and I'm a projector. And the way that I express this energy and put this energy out into the world is going to look a bit different than a generator who has this channel defined. Right? This is where the nuance comes in. And this is where it gets really fun because then it brings that level of differentiation out. Like, yes, we may have the same channel, but the way that we express that channel and manifest the energies of that channel and the ways that we are able to lean into that energy that's going to work for us, it's different from projector to generator. Yeah. And even by profile, I'm a 6'2". This generator may be a 3'5", right? So for me being a 6'2", that 6 line is going to influence my gates and my channels. So it's going to be about like this maturing over time, where for a 3rd line, it's going to be about this like experimenting and going out and trying things and figuring things out and bumping into life and becoming an expert at what doesn't work, right? So it can become really, we can just go deep with this. We can go really deep with this. So grab your chart, write down all the gates you have activated, write down the channels you have activated, and do a little research on what they mean for you. And just sit and reflect on, okay, how can I bring this more into my business, into my relationships, into how I show up in the world? Okay. So do some reflection and observe yourself related to your gates and your channels. So one of the things I love to do is I pay attention to, I know that for me, again, gate 21 is a big gate for me. Gate 48 is also a pretty big gate for me because it's a my incarnation cross. And I'm constantly observing, like, when is that energy showing up? Am I operating in the high expression of it, or am I operating in the shadow expression of it? If I'm operating in the shadow expression, then I know, okay, wait, we need to sit down and do some work and shift our energy. So it puts you in control, right? So I am going to end with that. It is storming here so bad. And I want to make sure that we can get through our episode without the power going out. All right. So if you have any questions about what was discussed today, you know that the door is open for you to send me a DM over on Instagram at Soulful Success by Design. Let me know what your questions are. Also, let me know if there are topics around human design that you would like me to discuss that we haven't discussed yet. And I also want to remind you that the Reader's Path School of Human Design Wisdom is open for enrollment. You can go to www.thereaderspath.com/sales-page-TRP, and you can learn more about it. And if you need to have a conversation before you enroll, again, DM me on Instagram and I'll be happy to talk with you. So today we went a little deep into gates and channels. There's obviously more to this, but I just wanted to give you a taste of what this looks like. So I'm going to leave all the links for you to pull your chart if you haven't done that. There will be the link for the school. And I want to invite you to just continue to go on this journey, your human design journey, at your pace and in the way that feels good for you. It is a journey. Okay. It's a marathon. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please follow the show. Give us a review. I'd love it if you would give us a review. This really, really helps us to get this information and this wisdom out to the world and to more people. Obviously helps with the algorithm too, pushes it up there so folks can, so the podcast is recommended to other people. So I look forward to connecting with you on our next episode. Again, this is Kendra with Soulful Success by Design. Go out there and create success from your soul on your terms. Until next time, be blessed.